Okay, what's up, everybody? I know that y'all missed me. I know that it's been a while. I know that y'all are just like, what the fuck? I know y'all probably like, this bitch look good, okay? But you are tuned into the Burnout podcast here at S.STREET Media. I am your co-host, Rebecca Shelby, aka I got my foot on these bitches next, aka Miscontextuality, and the Hot Takes Hottie, period. And we are here to do what? Let's talk about it. So, it's been such a crazy long time, like with the pandemic and everything that's going on. So, this episode, I'm just gonna dive right into it because y'all already waited long enough. So, for the first thing we're gonna get into, we're gonna talk about a little bit of news. We're not going to get to just spilling the tea. We're going to talk about some news. So, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the gaslighting and all of the racial things that's been going on in this country since the pandemic. So, as y'all know, your girl, she was out there on the front lines protesting, and like, one thing I will say is it is like, it's one thing to be on social media and talking about like justice and social justice and like, you know, the whole nine. But there's another thing to like plan a protest and actually like be out there in the midst of everything. Like, just, it's like, it's a very surreal thing. Like, I often think back to like how older black folks are always like, oh, we fought for y'all rights, and this, that, and the third. And it's just like, nigga, like, you ain't fight for like, you know, it feels so, it doesn't feel like it's connected to you because it happened so long ago. But it's a real experience. I think that anybody that's online popping their gums, popping their shit should definitely, even if they're not out there like marching, join some form of change. Join some type of group that is pushing for change. Now that I said all the positive shit, let's get into the real shit. So, one thing that I noticed with the entire coronavirus is how like y'all girls are conspiracy theorists, and I'm not saying that the pandemic was planned, but it's just weird how, like, you know, we spent 3 months inside of our house, and then, like, the George Floyd situation happened, and it's just like the entire country was just divided again. Like, we all would just stay home, wear your mask, sanitize, and it's just like, all lives matter, no black lives matter. What about blue lives? Like, it just was a lot, and, like, I would be doing y'all a disservice if I didn't say that I thought that a lot of this bullshit was planned. Not only like was it planned, but just like we're in the year of the Aquarius. I'm about to get deep with y'all. We're in the year of the Aquarius, and Aquariuses, we are two things. We're notorious for being revolutionaries. And the second thing, shout out to Math, he's always saying how Aquariuses were hard to figure out because everyone thinks we're water, but we're really air. And I always think about that because that is so true. People always think they just know me so well, and it's just like, you really don't. Like, it's kind of comical how well people think they know me. So being that we're in the year of the Aquarius, and like that whole metaphor of like things like being people thinking something is water but it's really air, just really translates to what the protests have been consistent of. And let me dissect that. So there's been a lot of like the police have been planting like bricks and things like that to incite violence. Things like cop cars being blown up and set on fire. Just like some really strange shit. And it's like, you know, black people, like, they'll walk in the store and loot some shit, but black people not pyromaniacs. Like, we're not generally like into bombing stuff and knowing how to build a bomb and cutting gas lights and like just certain stuff we aren't typically like hip to. Like, I'm not saying that we're innocent, but we're not super hip to things like that. So it's just like what I noticed with a lot of these protests is like the news media would make it seem like it's black people out here inciting rage and violence and this and that. But then when you look, it's these white people who setting these cop cars on fire. It's these white people inciting these riots. It's these white people breaking into these stores. So like, with this year being the year of Aquarius and then things not being what they appear to be, it just like, you know, it makes you go, Another thing that I had wanted to talk on is the news media. How the mainstream media, y'all are getting tired. Like, y'all are getting played out. Like, people rather get their information from social media and Twitter because y'all go so hard to filter out the truth. And by the truth, filter out voices of experiences that aren't the majority, which means white. And y'all are getting played. Like, people are tired of y'all. So y'all are going to keep trying to silence people and silence the voices of millions, but it's not going to work. Like, it's coming to an end. Like, y'all might have the money, but eventually the people will just stop tuning in. And I think that's what's been happening across the country. People are starting to do their own research and their own due diligence and learn things for themselves because people are quite frankly tired of getting everything from CNN and Fox, especially when they're not going to tell the truth. Like, they'll push down our throats that Bill Gates, that's what I'm thinking of, right? Bill Gates, that's who wants to fight the coronavirus in Africa. All right. Yeah. So they try to push down our throats that Bill Gates is doing all of this to stop the virus and XYZ, and it just doesn't make sense. So because y'all can't keep up with the peoples and the mindset, y'all then try to filter it out. So online, you're not allowed to talk about things like this. You're not allowed to talk about how Bill Gates is trying to bring the coronavirus to Africa, not to cure, but to infect them. We're not even talking about how inhumane that is. Like, why as Americans do we feel like we just have the right to go to somebody else's continent or country and test our drugs on them? Like, you know, like, we don't, like, we're getting to a point in society where half of us are tired and some of us are just so desensitized to the wrong that's going on. It's like, y'all are confused. Y'all don't know what the fuck is going on. And I'm perplexed. Like, I'm honestly confused, baffled, because it's just like, when is enough enough? You know? Like, when do we come together and finally realize, like, we might not all have the same views on things, but something is going on. Like, for example, people don't even talk about, Ari, could you do me a favor? Could you read me the name in purple of the guy selling the bricks that they were planting? I think his name is George something. It's next to Bill Gates. You had it. It was the other page. But anyway, yeah, like, they don't even talk about, like, what's really going on. Like, they don't. Yes, George Soros. They're not even talking about how George Soros literally is funding police departments and all of this craziness that's going on. Like, not funding the police department. I said that totally wrong. They're not even talking about how George Soros is paying police departments, and this is public record, you guys can actually look this up, to plant bricks at protest routes. Like, and that just goes into the bigger problem. Like, so much time, even today, like, I know we're supposed to be talking about the news, but even today, like, Beyonce's Black is King came out and everybody is talking about how this shit is evil. Y'all think it's evil because African spirituality makes you uncomfortable. Y'all think things are something that it's not because Black people make y'all uncomfortable. People of color make y'all uncomfortable. And I'm honestly just sick of it. So I decided that if they ain't gonna talk about it on the news, we gonna talk about it here. But yeah. So that aside, even with the defund the police conversation, the news was fiending to talk about how protesters are demanding at the that New York City defund the police. But right now they're not talking about how since they've defunded the police are being petty as fuck and not doing their jobs. Like, how many people I think got murdered in New York? What you call it? What was that last weekend? I think they said like, they said how many people? Like 25, I think 30. Yeah, 25, 30 people. Just like there was 25, 30 homicides. And how much on the bet some of those homicides was the police? I ain't say it. But yeah, like crazy shit is going on. And since they've defunded the police are being mad petty and not doing their job. And it's just like, just when this pandemic happened, people were saying, oh, why are nurses complaining? You signed up for this job. Why are doctors complaining? You signed up for this job. Why are we not holding the police accountable? Anyway, on to my next point. Some more news. Let's talk about all this new money. Let's get off of something morbid. I wanted to start it off with something empowering and something serious. But let's talk about all of this new money, and let's talk about it in regards of the Black community. So I've been seeing a lot of think pieces and a lot of I just want to know, first of all, one, who the fuck told y'all that y'all will finance consultants on social media? I've been seeing too many think pieces about what people need to be doing with their unemployment checks or with their stimulus checks. And it's just like, when did y'all become financial consultants? Now, I do, like I said, I do want to talk about the new money and what it means. But I just had to get that out there. Second thing. So yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this new money. A lot of people a lot of y'all are scamming. Let's get that out the way. A lot of y'all are scamming. Like, it's some nigga, I think in Texas, he bought a Lamborghini. He got over $4 million in the PPE thing that they launched for businesses, and instead of paying his employees, this nigga is riding Lambos. And then, bro, the news, and this is the bullshit I be talking about with the news, how they be trying to sweeten shit up for certain races. They gonna say that he spent most of the money on the car and dating websites. Dating websites, really? Like, come on, we know what the fuck. Dating, I think he's doing a little more than dating on those websites. But yeah, a lot of y'all are scamming with this this pandemic shit. But that aside, for the ones that aren't scamming, I'm tired of seeing these think pieces about how y'all think people should be spending their money. Because one, a lot of the people who qualified for the unemployment are people who lost their jobs. That's what's called unemployment. The government, when you work a job and you receive, and they take taxes out, like, that's what I'm just like, bro, what are they teaching y'all in these schools? When you work a job and they take taxes out and you file for unemployment, that is your money they're giving back to you. Like, that is your money that you worked from the time you had your first job. Secondly, if you're on unemployment, if you're not scamming, you have some type of bills, you have some type of something that you needed to take care of. So that money is not just going to bundles and weed. Like, I don't know why that's where y'all mindset go to. Then on top of that, Black folk is some of the most prejudiced people, son. Like, why do y'all think it's only Black people scamming the unemployment? Like, I see a lot of my first of all, I see a lot of y'all are miseducated on what the stimulus and unemployment is, because y'all like, oh, before you take that money, you have to give it back. No, you don't have to give it back. That's not how government money works. Like you gave it back when you worked a job that the government didn't employ you for, and they took taxes out of it. So that's one. Two, if you are paying bills, if like at the end of the day, like I don't know what's wrong. Like it's just like black people, if they're not the only ones happy, then nobody else can be happy. Like if it's not them and they people and they squad and they team or whatever, that's it. And that is so problematic and toxic. Like to be upset that somebody is getting money or you think that somebody is being financially irresponsible, it's so toxic because it's not your money. It's not, you shouldn't be worried about what other people are doing. And not only that, but these think pieces are unnecessary. Like people know who's who. Y'all can tell who was a bum before this pandemic and who wasn't. Like we don't need y'all to point out who's spending their money on BS and for you to even know if that's BS. Like the thing is, we have to stay out of each other's lives. Like we have to allow people to live their life. Not only do we have to allow people to do that, but if you want to give advice, there's a way to give advice without shaming people. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to advise you. So now, because we have all of this new money coming into the black community, and I feel like the past 3 years, we've really talked a lot about ownership and black businesses and supporting each other. And even though we're not all the way there, the conversation is being started. And I think that would be the time for us to further the conversation into actual investment. So a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about is basically like when people hear the word investment, especially people of color, we tend to think like, oh, I gotta throw $500 of my money into something and I'm not gonna get 1,000 until next year. Nah, I'm good. I will stick with my 500. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a big investment. An investment in yourself, an investment into a business, an investment into a stock or bond can be as little as $1, really. And I think that is the problem. We're not talking about smart financial investments and what they even mean. So, what I want to talk to you guys about today is basically some of the ways that you could do that. Like one of the things as far as investments that you can do, like I said, you can invest literally $1 into a stock. So you can invest $1 into Apple and it will keep growing. You can invest $20 into savings, and if you add, depending on what bank you're with, if you add $20 every week to that savings, once you reach a balance to over basically $2,000, you will start collecting interest. So you basically have $2,000 in the bank collecting interest at that point. There's just so many little things you could do that aren't big. Like not everyone is meant to be not everyone was meant to be some type of financier or some type of business mogul or anything along those lines. Sometimes investment for somebody in their regular life is just a little $20. Like I gotta think, not everyone wants to live above their means, and for people who do want to live above their means, of course you have to pay attention to finance because living above your means is expensive. So all in all, the think pieces are necessary. Let people do what they want to do with their money. And if you do feel like the thing is, y'all do basic shit that people been doing and think that that shit is new. Like investing was never new. Like saving was never new. Like none of that shit is not new. Like y'all do shit and y'all think y'all on some new wave. Like it's not new. Like some people do it, some people don't. All in all, let people be people. Now, moving off of our little newscast, I want to get into a segment that we're going to be doing on here called taboo talks. Now, for taboo talks, this installment is actually going to be about Black women, my favorite topic. So, with this topic, we are going to be talking about Black women and expensive gifts, because not for nothing, I've been seeing a lot of people basically like, I just want to know why niggas be mad when it's a Black woman. Like, pass me my book, bro. Because this, I got to get deep into it. I want to know why y'all mad, though. So, over this whole, like, I won't even see quarantine. Like, over this whole, I would say, like, the past 4 years, maybe, I've been seeing shit like, when women of other ethnicities and races receive gifts and expensive items and stuff from their boyfriends, especially their Black boyfriends, because we all know everyone loves Black men but hate the women that they come from. But when women of other races and ethnicities receive expensive items from men that they're dating or men that they're married to, it's praised. When Black women receive something, it's just like, oh, what she need all of that for? Oh, you doing too much. Oh, that's the problem. Black people are so financially irresponsible. And, like, we only get that reaction. Like, only us, no other women. Like, we're the only women that don't deserve to be treated nicely. So, I did a little digging of my own, and what you call it, I basically, noticed some patterns. So right now I'm gonna take the moment to talk about Lil Baby and Jada first. And y'all already know Lil Baby's like my favorite rapper, so I'm gonna have a lot of fun talking about this. So with Jada and Lil Baby is notably worth $4 million. And that's just his assets. Like, that's what he wants us to know. Because trust me, the man is worth way more by now. We're $4 million, making $100,000 a show. Now, and I'm gonna be a little biased because he is my favorite rapper, but Lil Baby is not one of them rappers like that. Like, he show off, like he invented the drip. But one thing I would say is he talks about financial responsibility. Like, anybody who listens to his music knows that, like, he talk all the ignorant shit, but he also talk about getting a bag too. And that's part of the reason why I like him. Like, he really be on that grind shit. So it's just weird to me that it's surprising, or that it's shocking that a millionaire can afford to gift his baby mother a Birkin bag and $100,000 for Mother's Day. 2 Birkin bags, my bad. 2 Birkin bags and over $100,000 for Mother's Day. It's just like, mind you, Jada, whom is a boss bitch herself, like, came before she was dating Lil Baby, had made, I think, what, 2.5 million? Like, she, is a millionaire in her own right. So it's just like, why is it like, I see people commenting on her posts like, oh, if I was her, I would just ask him to start a business for me. Oh, if I was her, I'd put all of that into my kids. Or, oh, those gifts, I would hate to be so materialistic. And it's just like, why do y'all just assume she's materialistic, or assume that her priorities or her kids aren't straight because her and her man, who are both millionaires, can afford to gift each other expensive items? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And my biggest pet peeve with this is it's only Black women. I'll move on to another example. With Ari and Moneybagg Yo, a lot of people was upset about Moneybagg Yo getting her a new car. Mind you, G Herbo financed her car, then let the people repo the shit after they broke up. Like, what type of shit is that? Anyway, fucking people is going in. Oh, she cares about material too much. She should invest all of that into a business. And both of these women I'm talking about were business owners and had a well-paying jobs of their own before they started messing with these men. So it just comes to like, I see stuff like that. Even like this YouTuber girl, her boyfriend bought her a bunch of expensive Gucci and Louis bags as a push gift. And people are like, oh, they could have put all of that into the kid. If he's buying a Louis bag for his baby mother, y'all don't think that the baby has a stroller or a fucking like crib? Like how dense could y'all be? And the thing is, when I look on the pages of people like Taina, what's that white girl from YouTube, Alyssa, that's dating the black guy? Like when I look at Hispanic or white women dating black men with money, it's never, oh, she's so materialistic. It's always, oh, she's a good girl, she deserved it, she was down for him, she deserved it. Like when Herb, what was that, the G-Wagon? When Herb got Taina that G-Wagon, which is probably the same G-Wagon that he got Ari, people was like, oh, she deserved it, she slept in the studio with him. If I had a girl like her, I would do the same thing. And it's just like, the problem becomes, y'all don't like black women. Like, y'all like the aesthetic of black women, but y'all don't like what we come with culturally. Y'all don't like what we come with as far as our opinions, what we bring to the table. So it makes some of y'all uncomfortable when you see black women being treated the way that they should be, or when y'all see black women who are free-spirited. Because the thing is, like, it's white girls going wild, but when it's black women, it's thoughts and hoes. Oh, look at them Trishas. Like, it's never reciprocated. And the problem I have is when people start saying these words like, it's just preference or it's just this, because it's not. It's never just preference. And then preference is always based in a bias that you have about the world. So my question then becomes like, what in society has to change? Because at this point, like, duh, we need more representation. Duh, we need more black women in roles and stuff like that to be like, you know, in a better light. But it's just like, we shouldn't have to force the world to see us in a good light when we never forced the world to see us in a bad one. Like, no one ever told society to demonize us and make us seem like sexual deviants that are ratchet and loud. So why do we have to work extra hard to not be those things? Because the thing is, as humans, we're complex. Like, we all are built up of different nuances and different experiences and different opinions. And it's just like, why, when it's black women, it's just like, no, if you act like this, you don't deserve my respect, you don't deserve this, you don't deserve that. But when it's any other race or ethnicity of women, it's acceptable. So all in all, I just feel like as black women, we need to get to a point with ourselves where those things just don't matter to us no more. Like, we're not going to allow for people to say what they want to say, do what they want to do, because, like, we just have to get to the point of being unapologetic. Because the thing is, the world will catch up, because that's the thing. They have to catch up to us. We don't have to catch up to them. Like, a lot of times people try to make it seem like, well, if everybody's saying the same thing, maybe it's you. And it's just like, maybe society just has a way of looking at things. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's the way I've been treated compared to other people. Maybe it's what people just want to see. Maybe it's what everyone else commonly thinks, because there is a thing called groupthink, and there is a thing called having a mentality of a group. So it boils down to when are we going to make it the world's business to catch up to us? Because we have to stop caring. That's the only way to liberate ourselves from these negative stigmas, is to not care. And I tell y'all right now, personally, that's why so many men hate me. That's why so many niggas curse me out all the fucking time, because I don't give a fuck. The thing is, a lot of women are scared to play men at their own game, and maybe that's because they don't know how to. But that's essentially what we have to start doing. Not necessarily making it a competition, but just not caring. The same morals men hold for women, we should hold for them. And not just say it, but acting on it, really upholding those morals, really being okay, really challenging these common thoughts. Yeah, all in all, that's what I think. That's what I had to say about taboo talks and black women. We just gotta get to the point where we don't care about what niggas have to say anymore. Now, on to our final topic, the one that I've been waiting for, the one that I know that y'all are probably just come on, girl, get to the gossip. That's what we here for. Let's talk about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and not the movie. We about to talk about this whole entanglement situation. I just want to say one thing. August, honey. It is August 1st. You were supposed to come now. Not with it was just it's too much. It was too much. All right. So I have an issue. Well, let me not say an issue. I have a problem with the common misconception that Willard Smith is innocent in all of this. This man right here is all right, let me backtrack, because a lot of y'all probably gonna be watching this Rebecca, we love when you break it down, so break it down. So what happened was August Alsina was being a messy queen and got on Angela Yee's podcast and was interviewed by her, and it actually was a really good interview. I watched the entire interview, and he was talking about the loss in his life, and having he don't have no kids of his own, but he have to step up and be a father to all of his nieces because his brother and his sister is dead. So there was a lot of stuff he was talking about in there that was really good, and I feel the whole Jada and Will situation kind of overshadowed it. That was a minuscule part of a really good interview. But what I will say is the common perception of this whole August Alsina and Jada situation is that Will Smith is innocent. And y'all don't know how funny that is to me. That y'all think that Will Smith, Mr. I Am Legend, Mr. I Robot, Mr. Pursuit of Happiness, fucking whatever the fuck, is innocent in this. So I got some receipts and treats for y'all. I got all of that. So let's talk about it, because that's what we came here to do. So let's start at the beginning, at the top of the list. And I want to say 2015, maybe it might have been 2016. In 2015, 2016, August Alsina and Jaden Smith were friends. All right? So in that friendship, I think it was Coachella or some festival Jaden was at fucking He introduced August Alsina to his moms. His moms was like most of the women in 2016 and 2015 and was like, okay, who this? Who? Because come on, ladies, let's not act like August Alsina wasn't fine. So, what you call it? She met him. They started messing around with each other at the time. I think August Alsina was 20, 22, 21. He is a young man. He's a very young man. So, my bad. The reason why I'm saying so many ums and ums and ums is because I'm looking for the receipts for y'all. But basically they met, they had their little situationship, and the common misconception about this is that Jada is some type of sexual deviant that did Will wrong, and that's not the case at all. Jada Pickett, I'm not Jada Pickett. What you call it? Will and Jada are swingers. And if they're not swingers, they're both comfortable. Matter of fact, let me not even say swingers, because I think that actually cheapens what I'm about to talk to y'all about. Will and Jada are basically in a point in their life where broke people can't understand, which means they are worth more together than they are apart. So if Will and Jada were to break up, both of their values would decrease. And let me explain to y'all what that means. They have built up a brand that is basically like inseparable. Like they're both separate entities of each other. Like there's no more just Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. There's Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. Like that's it. Like they're not separate entities. So because of that, that's why you see Jada saying things like they're life partners, because it's much bigger than them just being in a relationship and being faithful. So the thing is, Will has had entanglements of his own before. Like Will Smith is not innocent. I think like the sadness people are saying that they seen in Will's face was not sadness. It was more annoyance that Jada can't keep her new dick quiet. So let's talk about it. I know I keep saying let's talk about it, but y'all, I did this whole entire thread about Will Smith's entanglements, and that's what I'm looking for right now. And honey, it is juicy, but I'm gonna just get into it off of what I know from my head. So yeah, Will Smith has been entangled with a lot of women over the years. And the thing is, like, all right, for example, y'all notice in they interview when here we go, y'all. Okay, we lit. Ooh, baby. That's the one. But yeah, y'all notice how when they did the sit down, Will was like, I'm gonna get you back, and Jada was like, nigga, you already did that. So let's talk about Will's entanglements, and I wish I could show y'all the pictures. I might still be able to show y'all, but so I'm gonna get into the first entanglement. Margot Robbie, aka none other but Harley Quinn herself. So if y'all watched any of the Suicide Squad press runs that they did, they always put Margot Robbie and Will Smith together. Now, usually during promotions for movies, especially like Avenger movies, they typically try to put the main two love interests in press runs together to sell the fantasy of that those said characters being together. So I always found it strange that Margot Robbie and Will Smith would do their press runs for Suicide Squad together. So I want to say, what date is this? In one of these magazines. When did Suicide Squad come out? What year was that? 2016. So in 2016, I don't know if y'all could really see it, but these photos of Margot Robbie and Will Smith came out. And the photo is basically Margot Robbie with her shirt up, Will Smith all touching her and stuff. He got his shirt up and shit. And basically the article says Will and Jada the photos that will tear them apart. So that situation happened, per usual. They were not breaking up. No one's getting a divorce, blah, blah, blah. BS that they always pull. So that was like I'm not going to say one of his first known entanglements, but that was one of the bigger scandals. Now on to Will Smith's August Alsina. Liza Koshy, popular Viner turned into big YouTuber. Will Smith is basically, there's been reports that Liza Koshy, however you say her name, that Indian girl that had the YouTube channel, there's basically reports that she's like his sugar baby. And you guys could tell that there's some type of chemistry between them because they always are on vacation together. Will Smith is always promoting her on his YouTube channel. He's always featured on hers. And the thing I find funny is just how close they are and how Will Smith, it's kind of like very Jada and August-esque because he's always talking about how like they're in a mentorship and he's mentoring her and he's helping her, and it's just like, boy, he is flying that girl out and giving her that dick, long dick style. Like, I don't know who the fuck he think he's playing with. Now we're gonna talk about Heidi De La Rosa, Miss Thing, and I like Heidi De La Rosa, so I'm actually saying her name wrong. I'm talking about I like her, and I'm saying her name wrong. Heidi De La Rosa. So I actually like her. She's basically a model and best friend to Chanel Iman, and she's basically one of Will Smith's long-time girlfriends, you could say. This girl be going, all right, y'all could kind of see in this picture here, this is how Will Smith in Egypt at the same time. If you go on their pictures and compare dates, they are always in the same country at the same time on vacation. But yeah, this is them in I don't even know. Oh, this is them in Havana, Cuba. And yeah, she's like one of his favorite girlfriends too, because they're always on vacation together. And the thing is, this is how you know they're dating. Anytime Heidi goes on vacation with Chanel Iman, Chanel Iman is always on vacation with her man. And I don't care how much of besties you guys are, you are not going to go on a vacation out of the country with your best friend and her man just by herself. It's just weird. So the next girlfriend, Griselle, that's Fancy from the Jamie Foxx show. That wasn't really long term, but they were together for a little while. And then here's the tea, Cherie Zampino, who's his ex-wife. Now, Cherie is Will Smith's first wife, and reportedly people say that he's still fucking her. Like, they still have a full-on relationship, and not for nothing, I wouldn't be surprised because the way he left her and got with Jada was corny. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's still fucking her. Not for nothing, all niggas is still fucking their baby mother. If your man got a baby mother, they're still having sex. Take it from me. Eva Mendes. Now, they were co-stars in Hitch together, and all of their press run and promo stuff looked like they was in a relationship. If you just type in Eva Mendes and Will Smith, you'll see pictures of them kissing mouth to mouth on the red carpet, which is just strange. Like, what co-stars move like that? And Will Smith was very much in a relationship at that time. So yeah. I could talk about some other entanglements, but those are a little more, how do I put it? They're a little more slanderous because they're insinuating that Will Smith is gay. which is not something that he has openly said he is. So I'm not going to out nobody on my podcast. But what I will say is Jada and Will, they have a open relationship because they have to. Not because, and probably not even because they want to, because I think that Jada messing with August Alsina was more of a get back than it was a serious thing. Yeah, they're worth so much together. Like, they have a water company. Like, they own water. Just think about that. They own water. They are selling water in Whole Foods. Their son passes out vegan food to homeless people. So these people are rolling in it. I think Will Smith and Jada have and they say it's not Scientology, but I know Scientology when I see it. They have a whole fucking high school in California for free thinkers, and it costs money to open up schools like that. So like on a global, and then just even in itself, like when I was watching that Red Table Talk, it looked like two actors. Like, it looked like they was doing a scene together. It didn't look like, bro, Will, because people was like, oh, look at Will. He looked like he was crying for days. Will Smith was looking like how he looked when he had to kill his dog in I Am Legend. Like, of course he looked like he was crying for days. Like, we're talking about Will Smith, one of the, not top black actor, top actors, period. Because Will Smith, one of my favorite actors. I'm actually disappointed that he blocked me. Because when all of this entanglement stuff happened, I said one thing and I got blocked. I ain't even at him. The person whose thread I was under added him. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, the entire Red Table Talk scene just looked like something out of a movie. Like, Jada looked like how she was looking in Girls Trip. And Will was looking like how he looked in I Am Legend. And you gotta think about it. Both of them are decorated actors. Like, Jada, like, we all seen, I'm about to hate myself for forgetting the name of this movie. What's the movie with Cleo and they robbed the bank? Set It Off. Boom. Bro, we're talking about two decorated actors. Like, Jada was in Set It Off, bro. Like, a very emotional movie. So yeah, like fuck that. Fucking what movie is that? The Matrix. She's in the Matrix 2 with her Bantu knots. Like Jada is like, feel me, we're gonna put some respect on her name. Like, she not just some rink dink Z-list actress that scooped Will Smith. Like, she's just as decorated as he is, I would say. Of course, him a little more, but like, they're both very well decorated actors. So why would they not be able to be in a real moment in a camera? Like, why is that? Like, people, oh, Jada has no remorse. She doesn't, bro. They did this to protect Will Smith's image, because here's the thing. Jada has always protected Will's career. That's part of the reason why she stopped acting in a lot of projects. Like, she's always been the protector of that perfect Smith image. So that's even like, I remember in like the early 2000s, I think it was Willow. She had got sick or something at one of the award ceremonies that Will Smith was getting. I think, I forgot what award he was winning. One of the many he has already gotten. Like, cause the man is decorated. Like, the man is decorated. But he, yeah. And Jada basically left. Mind you, she was up for a nomination that night, I think, too. She left because the baby was sick and she knew that he had to be there to get that award. And it's always been like that. I even remember watching her do an interview about Girls Trip. And she was saying how Will Smith had came one of the days that they were filming. And, like, it was, like, just this whole huge thing. And, like, basically, like, he came one of the days that they were filming. And they had to do something. They didn't know that it was going to be so public. And, like, she's just so protective of him. Like, she's just so, no, Will can't be here right now. Will is the star. Like, Will. So it's just like, Will Smith is not innocent in this. Like, Will Smith is not some heartbroken puppy that the one woman that he ever loved has done him so dirty. Like, it's very much on a quite contraire. Like, the both of them are comfortable because they're millionaires. And at the end of the day, what we have to say online, I mean, Will Smith already said it. He said Black Twitter has already took their pick. But like, it just doesn't matter to them. Like, and for her, she's willing to, because the thing is, if August Alsina ain't say nothing, they wasn't telling. And we got to keep that all the way honest. If they ain't say nothing, they wasn't telling. So, all in all, I think this situation with the entanglement is an example as to why broke people need to stay out of rich people business. Like that's the lesson to learn about this. Like that's it. Like, bro, y'all don't know, I spent time on this. I'm like, what message am I gonna leave my viewers with from this? Be faithful, don't cheat, no, stay out of rich folk business. You know, when you young, your parents be like, stay out of grown folk business, stay out of rich folk business, because it's different business, bro. Like, the more I start to be around people with a little bit of money, and these people not even on Will and Jada level, and they're weirdos, so it's just like, the more I start to be around people with a little more money, it's just like, you just have to stay out of rich people business. Because then, like, when I get rich, who knows? I might have some weird business. But I just want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in for this first installment of the Burnout podcast since the pandemic. It's been a lot. Like, I know a lot of us probably feel uninspired, like we can't go on, or like, you know, life is just pointless. But, you know, slowly but surely, America's open back up again, and eventually the world will be open again, and you'll be prepared for the next pandemic, because another one will come. But yeah, so all in all, I should really create a slogan, but my slogan is already let's talk about it. I should have a closing out one, but that kind of be corny. But anyway, this is the Burnout Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rebecca Shelby. We are always here at S.STREET Media, and as always, y'all came to talk about it. That's what we did. So now you guys could go home and talk about it with your friends. So this is the Burnout Podcast, and we are out.